Hello, welcome back to our session, our conference of the Clean Energy Transition Partnership. My name is Gerdy Breenbroek. I'm from the Netherlands Enterprise Agency, and I have the honor to be your guest woman in this session here, which will look into the role of research and innovation in the Net Zero Industry Act. We had a deep dive in the Net Zero Industry Act, the session before this one. And in this session, we are going to look at the role of research and innovation for the Net Zero Industry Act, and also the relation between what we're doing in the Clean Energy Transition Partnership and all of these developments. We will be having a keynote from Maria Getsiou and also a panel discussion, and I'll introduce our guests to you. The first one I want to introduce is indeed Maria Getsiou. Maria is working at the European Commission. She is a senior expert in renewable energy research and innovation policy with more than 15 years of experience. And she's currently working at the DG Research and Innovation and the unit Clean Energy Transitions. She's also really closely related to the work of the Clean Energy Transition Partnership. So I'm really happy, and it's very suitable that you're here, Maria. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Gerdy.
The second panelist we will be having is Valérie Séjourné. Valérie is from Solar Heat Europe, and she's representing one of those industries that is one of the industries that is stimulated and that is in focus in the Net Zero Industry Act. And we will be discussing with her what research and innovation, but also what the Net Zero Industry Act means for her industry. So welcome to this conference, Valérie. Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much.
Then we have also with us Jean-Baptiste Lemarrois. Jean-Baptiste is from the International Energy Agency in Paris. He's part of the Energy Technology Policy Division, co-leading the International Energy Agency innovation work with, for example, contributions to the IEA Net Zero by 2050 roadmap. And he's also the coordinator of the Clean Tech Guide, which is an online database tracking progress of around 600 clean energy technologies. And from that perspective, he's really knowledgeable about research and innovation in the whole world. And that makes him a very interesting partner for our discussions later today. And
thank you, Gerdy.
The last person we will be having is, I think, known to many of you because it's Michael Hübner, who is the coordinator of the Clean Energy Transition Partnership. He's from the Austrian Federal Ministry for Climate Action, Environment, Energy, Mobility, Innovation and Technology. So he is a suitable partner for every conversation you might have, I would say. Thank you for joining, Michael.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
And yes, we as a Clean Energy Transition Partnership are, of course, focused on research and innovation for the clean energy transition. And this morning we discussed the Net Zero Industry Act, which is very important for our direction as well, because the Net Zero Industry Act will be important to shape the net zero industry in years to come in Europe. And we're contributing from a different angle from research and innovation. And I would like to invite Maria Getsiou to reflect in her keynote on the relation between research and innovation and the aims and methods of the Net Zero Industry Act. Maria, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Gerdy. Thank you very much. Yes. So, good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. I know that in the morning you had a very good discussion and there was a very good presentation, actually an explanation of what the Net Zero Industry Act is and what role it is going to play in the industrial landscape of the European Union. So I will go very quickly in my first slide since the Net Zero Industry Act has already been presented, but I won't skip this one because I want to put it in the right frame. We are under the European Green Deal, which is the growth strategy for Europe. It is important because it has set the goals of the green transition. It has intermediate goals for greenhouse gas emissions reduction by 2030, and of course the ultimate climate neutrality goal by 2050. At the same time, we want to be a prosperous society and to base our economy on competitiveness. And then for this reason, the Green Deal Industrial Plan has come some 2 years ago, and under the Green Deal Industrial Plan, the Net Zero Industry Act and the Critical Raw Materials Act. It is very well understood by everyone that we are together, the European Union, the member states, industry, stakeholders, everybody should be involved in this effort. And this is why we are talking about coordination at all levels, coordination at the European level, and joining forces together with member states. I will skip the general objectives of ENZIA since they have already been presented, but I will focus now, I will go again on the pillars of the ENZIA, because on these pillars I would like to hook my presentation, which is about research and innovation. So, as has been presented by Daniel and by colleagues in the morning, ENZIA focuses on permitting and market, on investment, on skills, innovation and governance. However, apart from innovation, which is a pillar, but which is mainly linked to regulatory sandboxes and how small and medium enterprises, SMEs, can be helped in order to innovate and at the same time be in a position to sell their products in the market, there is nothing else clearly defined about innovation. However, there are hooks on innovation because, of course, when we are talking about markets and when we are talking about permitting, there are links for innovation. So if we see on that for markets, for example, and as explained by Daniel, there will be auctions which will be based on resilience and which will be based on products that are more sustainable, then there is a link for innovation because we need to innovate in order to make such products. Also, in investment, for example, we are talking about investment. No, I'm sorry. On the strategic projects. In order for a project to be strategic, first of all, it has to be to promote a competitive technology. And therefore, in order to have a competitive technology, we need to have innovation. So for this reason, I've presented again the areas on which ENZIA focuses, and then I will explain further. The set plan, which, as has been mentioned previously, is already included in the ENZIA, in the legal document, in the legal act. But first of all, what is the set plan? I think most of you will know the set plan because it is not something new. It was launched in 2007. I think it was more or less the same time that I joined the unit on clean energy transition. So with the goal to align the strategies and the research and innovation strategies of member states and of the European Commission towards the clean investments and clean technologies. So its aim is that it will help the cooperation of all the stakeholders in order to promote our clean transition goals. Now, it is arranged or it is structured around certain priorities. For example, becoming number one in renewables, or promoting clean energy systems, promoting energy efficiency, sustainable transport, and the other areas which are mentioned already in the presentation. For each of these areas, then, there are implementation working groups. There are in total 14 implementation working groups in which member state representatives, and not only member states, but also associated countries and sometimes third countries participate in order to develop joint research agendas or joint agendas, and in order to define a roadmap for implementing these priorities, for implementing the priorities which have been agreed upon. So the role of the set plan, as I said previously, is included in the Net Zero Industry Act. The Net Zero Industry Act says or talks about the establishment of the Strategic Energy Technologies Plan Steering Group. The steering group is not new. It is something that exists, but the new steering group, the one that will be established, it will be included in the framework of ENZIA, and as I will show you later on, it will have a connection with the governance of the ENZIA. The tasks of the set plan are to provide guidance and directions to the Strategic Energy Technology Plan, to coordinate the support for the development of clean energy technologies at all levels, as previously mentioned, so stakeholders, industry, member states, European Commission, and to advise and assist the European Commission in order to take, under certain circumstances, the right initiatives and the right tasks, to perform the right tasks. Now, there is a link with a platform. This is defined in the Act, that the platform, which is the governance body of the Net Zero Industry Act, will meet at least once with the steering group of the set plan in order to exchange experience, to discuss the developments, and therefore there will be an open dialogue between the steering group of the set plan and the platform, which is the governance body of the ENZIA. An element which is mentioned, an element which is related to research and innovation, which is mentioned actually in the regulation in ENZIA, is the regulatory sandboxes. The regulatory sandboxes are very important because they would allow small and medium enterprises to promote their products, even if the conditions, the regulatory conditions, do not allow them for the moment to do so. So the regulatory sandbox gives the possibility for a product or a solution which is facing at the moment regulatory barriers to have time-limited access in order to test those products and then to overcome in the time to come those regulatory barriers. So the instrument is very important because it gives, first of all, the possibility of a dialogue between innovators and between energy regulators, and it provides SMEs and startups with priority access in these net zero regulatory sandboxes, and ultimately with the possibility to promote those their products and to overcome actually the obstacles and the barriers in the promotion of their products in the European market. Another area where we can hook actually innovation is on the priority of the net zero strategic projects, which is defined in the ENZIA. As explained by Daniel and by colleagues in the morning, the net zero strategic projects are manufacturing projects. They are not research and innovation projects, they are manufacturing projects of commercial technologies. However, they have three objectives. First of all, actually they cover three areas. to increase the manufacturing capacity of a component or of a segment of the market that does, when at the time when we are talking about, depends for more than 50% of its full value chain on imports. For example, photovoltaics can fall under this category, or which makes a substantive contribution to the 2030 climate energy objectives. And again, here, photovoltaics or wind technology, for example, they can hook, they have a place. Then the second category is the one of a technology which represents a significant share of world production. I can think about heat pumps, for example, here. And the last one is, I'm sorry, it's not the last one. My lines here are mixed and I have mixed the categories. So the second one is when there are measures or there are with the manufacturing capacity, actually, the local market is being supported because there are initiatives or they give the possibility for upskilling and reskilling of the workforce or for contributing to the competitiveness of the local SMEs. And the last category is contributing to the competitiveness of the union's market, however, covering as well the climate and energy objectives by manufacturing products which actually fall under more sustainable category. They have a higher performance, or they have circularity features, or they, in general, have a higher sustainability degree. So the key innovation challenges for the net zero technologies, of course, is the acceleration of the transition, competitiveness, security of supply, and sustainability and societal acceptance. And all these innovation challenges can be catered by all levels of research, by basic research, which can bring disruptive innovation, by applied research, which can sustain actually innovation, and by infrastructural research and innovation for regulatory and systemic innovations and for resilience. So these are generic innovation challenges for all technologies, regardless of the NZIA. Now, if we link innovation to NZIA, then we can say that the innovation challenges that can be catered or can cater actually NZIA is how to bring from lab to fab technologies. So there are technologies that can cater NZIA, but they need to be brought to a higher level or very closer to commercialization. Then the challenge is how we support the scaling up and the manufacturing capacity of these technologies. How we make more efficient manufacturing processes with more automation and more digitalization, so that the advanced manufacturing and the resource efficiency are the two objectives of research that would cater actually products that are more efficient and most cost competitive. Another key innovation challenge for net zero strategic project is to drive research in energy efficiency and on circular economy. So industrial energy efficiency is something which is very important, and it would lead to making industrial processes more energy efficient through electrification, through innovations in processing, like innovations that use heat recovery or process optimization that significantly and permanently reduce emission rates of CO2. Or processes that are based on circularity and recyclability. So developing products that are easier to recycle, easier to repair and reuse, for example, for solar panels or for batteries, So for more sustainable manufacturing and for products that have a longer end of life. Then on material efficiency, R&I should explore new sustainable materials or the use of less materials or recycled materials, and or use of non-toxic materials, for example. And therefore, these practices can be catered. These are challenges, R&I challenges, that can cater solutions for the net zero strategic projects. Another challenge that can cater net zero strategic projects is how to accelerate technology commercialization. So, as I said before, the challenges for net zero technologies can be seen from the very basic challenges until challenges which are linked to the value chain very close to commercialization. However, if we want to be at the forefront of competitiveness, the first area where we have to look is to the higher TRL degrees, to the higher technology readiness levels, on advancing technologies that can come very close to commercialization very fast. Also, to support startups and SMEs, to support standardization and certification, and increase funding for grants for projects that focus on scaling up clean technologies and achieving commercial readiness. I will finish very soon. So another element which has been mentioned and which is I think one of the basic characteristics of the CETP partnership is collaboration. As has been said before, and I think it was one of the questions that have been put in the previous session, international collaboration is very important. It is important because in order to promote manufacturing in Europe, we have to sell products not only in Europe, but in the whole world. And therefore, to respond to global standards and best practices, but also with participation in technology partnerships in which many countries of the world, not only European, participate, there is an exchange and a share of knowledge and a co-development of solutions that will be very important in the future energy system. And I think with this, I have come to the end of my time. I see Gertie in the screen, and I would like to thank you and to thank you for your patience. Thank you for your attention. And I will be here again for the panel discussion and for replying to your questions.
Thank you very much, Maria. That was really interesting and a real broad scope of what research and innovation can do, and also how the mechanisms that we have in the European Union to support and align our research efforts have been very clearly linked to what it means for the Net Zero Industry Act and the Net Zero Industry targets, which are all, and that was where you started, which are all a part of our Green Deal for Europe. I wanted to ask, how do you see the connection? How do we feed this connection between what we're doing in the Clean Energy Transition Partnership, in the Net Zero Industry Act, and in the SET plan? Do you have some insights on that? How we could best collaborate here?
Yeah. So the SET plan, as I said before, was an initiative that came since 2007. It is constructed around the EWGs, as we call them, so areas in which member states, the Commission, associated countries collaborate. Now, these areas of collaboration we define strategic research agendas to align actually the funding of the European Commission towards these areas with the funding of the member states. So in order to do it actively in the Commission and with the participation of the Commission, we had the CETP partnership, which is exactly this. It is a program where member states, funding institutes from member states, put funding, so join their forces actually by funding joint projects, by organizing joint calls and funding joint projects, which the Commission also co-fund in order to support the efforts of member states and associated countries in these areas. And in this way, all the forces, all the funding forces at least, and the of member states, of our associated states, or for third countries align. So we create a solid basis, and we try to defragment the area of research and innovation in all the research challenges, in all the research areas which are covered under the SET plan. This is the SET plan. This is how CETP and SET plan are aligned. And as I said before now, both the CETP and the SET plan are mentioned in ENSIA as a primary source, I would say, of input in ENSIA. Because within the SET plan and within the CETP, the technologies or the future technologies, the future commercial technologies, which will be supported within ENSIA, are supported, are being developed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm sure that we will be talking about the need for technology development as well in our panel, but I think that there might be a question from the audience. Julia, is there anything people want to ask?
Yes, exactly. And also it is on the link of the SET plan and the Net Zero Industry Act. So it's a good follow-up question to the one you just asked, I think. So how does the European SET plan and ENSIA address sectors outside the energy sector itself? For example, healthcare, food and drink, or tourism?
Yes. So the SET plan is not about the other sectors. It is about the strategic energy technology plan. So ENSIA caters through the SET plan and the CETP for energy only. However, under ENSIA, there are other scientific advisory groups, which I guess would cater other sectors as well and other needs. But the SET plan and CETP are linked to energy and not to the other sectors. I think the DUTE partnership is also mentioned in ENSIA. So apart from CETP, another partnership is as well mentioned, but it is not linked either to the sectors that have been mentioned in the question.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Any other questions,
Yes,
Julia?
There's another question about innovation. How do you do if a project is highly market disruptive, or how much disruption is acceptable under the ENSIA? So it's a difficult question, I think.
ENSIA, as I said, is about manufacturing of commercial technologies or close to commercial technologies. If a technology is not commercial, it will receive support, for example, through the regulatory sandboxes. If the product cannot be placed in the market directly because it is so disruptive that it cannot conform to the regulatory framework, then through the regulatory sandboxes, it can be checked. And then the regulation to be adapted in a way so that the product, if it is competitive and if it complies with all the other necessary requirements for ENSIA, that it can go farther. So actually, ENSIA is the last part of the path, let's say, for the development of a disruptive technology. And NZIA is the last path, is the commercialization, is the production and commercialization. But before that, there are other instruments in the European Commission that can support the development of a disruptive technology. We have funding projects which are not only at the European level, but at member state level through the partnership, for example, the CETP partnership. Then there is the Innovation Fund, by which a project that it is still at the research and innovation level can go one step farther and have its demonstration, its first of a kind demonstration. And then, of course, there is NZIA, which can support commercial facilities. So there is a whole path to be filled in before something goes to commercialization.
I think that is a very good and clarifying answer.